who is in the media today. According to reports from the Daily Mirror, Chelsea are reportedly considering paying the £5 million fee to cancel the permanent requirement to sign
Sancho back to Man United.
That's apparently the current
so the situation was that they've agreed a fee to buy him, and if they don't go ahead with that and they send him back to Manchester United, they've got to send him back with £5 million to Manchester United.
And they're apparently, according to reports from the Daily Mirror, they're prepared to do that.
Well, I suppose that means Chelsea don't think Sancho's where he needs to be.
What do you guys make of Sancho's time at Chelsea this season?
For me, well, disappointing for me. I think I don't know if it's still potential you're looking at with Sancho because of his age and how long he's been around. You know, he's got to start fulfilling it if that's what we're talking about, potential. But he should be now with that kind of quality he's got. You know, cementing his place in a team, and he's just wandering around, isn't he? And it's a waste of talent, to be honest, because he's got something.
I don't think people, when they look at him play, I don't think people have a go at his ability. Because even when he came on for that last, 20 minutes, you see him wrapping up and you're not really seeing fire in his eyes. You're thinking, is he really going to make a difference? But he came on, he did all right today. You know, he created 1 or 2 opportunities. So I don't think people criticise that. It's just, there must be something else on him. And I'm surprised that no one's figured it out yet. You know, whatever it is, it's something to do with, is he up for it? Does he want it? Does he? And it's just a shame.
Dortmund seems to get the best out of him.
From a manager's point of view, Harry, how do you navigate past characters like that? Because as Jason pointed out, as Gary also pointed out at some point, that at Dortmund, Jadon Sancho was playing on a completely different level. He was regarded as one of the best wingers in world football. At that point, his numbers were absolutely ridiculous.
But it convinced Manchester United to pay close on 80 million for him.
Exactly.
But then you get reports that Dortmund apparently had problems with his time management, that they had to assign individuals, specific coaches, to make sure that he comes to training on time, to make sure that he wakes up on time, and all these sort of reports break away. From a manager's point of view, Harry, how would you navigate characters like that?
It's frustrating because you can see the talent's there. You can see the opportunities that they can create, and it's there. And you're willing, you're working every day to try to get the best out of them. But eventually, it's going to have to come from the player. If he wants it, it's going to be there for him, because you're going to do everything as a manager, as a club, to get the best out of that player. You're going to provide everything. You're saying what Dortmund did is provided someone to make sure he was there on certain times, so he didn't have to worry about that. And I think we've created that for a lot of footballers now, where they don't have to think, they've just got to turn up, so we can actually get the best out of them. But eventually, you will see top players and they just drift away, and if they don't personally want it, there's really nothing you can do about it.
In his defence, though, Harry, I mean, you mentioned it there, the Manchester United move. He's had a lot of inconsistency when it comes to managers. You get a new manager comes in, he wants to change the tactics, he wants to change the way you play, and then he only lasts maybe a season, and then another manager comes in, he wants to play a different way and stuff. So it can be difficult, Jason. But you have to. I agree with Harry when he says, at the end of the day, it's got to come from the player. You can't just. We see it with Marcus Rashford. I think you could put him in the same kind of category. You've got to knuckle down and do it yourself. And say, right, okay, if the manager wants me to play that, I've got to adapt, and I've got to do it, and I've got to stay professional. You can't sort of throw your toys out the pram and just let your career just sort of wander off.
Which, yes, I agree. But again, certain managers have a certain way of style, and if you want to play in that team, you're going to have to adapt yourself. And if it doesn't work, okay, after a season or 2 seasons, yeah, maybe go play something, but you just can't play one way. In this world, in the game that we play now, you can't play one way. You've got to be able to play 2 or 3 positions. But Sancho just seems to play that flary kind of winger that comes over, does about 3 or 4 step overs, shifts his shoulder, cuts inside, does a look up, cuts back again.
He's a bit of a luxury, isn't he?
Yes, he's a bit. But if you had the other side of working hard off the ball, you'd go, okay, I can work with that. But he doesn't really have that.
Gary, just one final thought. It's building up to be a crucial summer then for Jadon Sancho. I mean, you look at some of the United, quote-unquote, boys who have left the club in search of green pastures. McTominay has found a new lease of life in Naples. Rashford seems to have kicked on at Villa. You've got Anthony, who is an absolute superstar in Betis at the moment. But from Sancho's point of view, how does it work this summer for him?
Well, it looks like he'll go back to Manchester United, and I'm not sure whether he's got the inner desire to recreate his career again, to relaunch his career. So possibly he's a player who's going to sit on a very handsome contract for the remainder of that time at Manchester United. I don't know if he's got another year or 2 years, I don't know. Which would be tragic.
I think someone will take a gamble on him.
Yeah, but will he go? Because they're not going to pay him the same. They're not going to pay him the same sort of money.
I think you're right. I think he will stay there and wait.
Yeah.
But I think someone will. I don't think a top team. Maybe he may go to a different league or something like that. But I think someone will take the chance and take, because they know the abilities there, and they may think, well, I can get the best out of him.
He's got to manage his expectations, and he, you know, he's not in that bracket now where you're looking at top teams. You know, I know he's moved around, but maybe, I don't know, Dortmund, they seem to get the best out of him. He might venture back there. Foreign, that might be his direction.
Perfect. We can only wait and see. It's shaping up to be a huge summer ahead for Jadon Sancho.